Hey guys, it's J-Man Powerhouse.
And Steven Jackson 13.
Sucks, Mr. Malibu here.
What's up? It's Ari.
Hi everybody, it's Alana Rivers.
It's more about the connections we've made more than anything else, more about how all of us who do this podcast together are family. That's really what it's all about.
This podcast is really about determination. You will not find a more determined group of people to get things done and to succeed. It's not like succeeding in your team. You want to have fun while doing this. So it's about determination. It's about loving what we do, having each other, making the connections. It's more about the connections than the actual subscribers or views. It's about how close we've all come with each other. It's about the family. It's about the feels. And we love it. And we love having the feels together. We love the connections we've made. We love the family aspect we've got. Determination and dedication. And most importantly, this podcast is about family and feels.
Hello, my name's J-Man Powerhouse, and welcome to the Life is Feels podcast.
Hey guys, it's J-Man Powerhouse.
And Steven Jackson 13.
Don't steal my entrance, J-Man Powerhouse.
And Steven Jackson 13, the better one.
Sucks, Mr. Malibu here.
And Steven Jackson 13.
What's up? It's Ari.
Hi everybody, it's Alana Rivers.
J-Man Powerhouse. You're listening to the Life is Feels podcast. We hope you stick with us and go through all the emotions and all the feels. The Life is Feels podcast starts right now. Hey guys, it's J-Man Powerhouse and welcome to special episode number 6. As today we have an interview with Scott Narver from Wrestling Compadres, AfterBuzz TV, and Curtain Jerks. Real excited for this interview. Ladies and gentlemen, the feels with Scott Narver start right now. Hey Scott, how are you doing for the 9th time?
Hey, J-Man Powerhouse, that's not true. 3rd time's a charm, and I feel like I'm covered in 4-leaf clovers because we're going to get
it. Wow, thanks. You really have motivation in my... You have no motivation in me whatsoever.
Hey, you're regular Ciampa and Gargano. You're doing DIY. And, you're pursuing the podcast dream, and that's respectable, and it's not always easy. And, technical difficulties be what they are. We're going to get through
it. Take 74. Here we go. All right, so let's get to some questions here. All right, so, Transition City. We're just gonna go all over the place.
Oh, you have heard me podcast. Got it.
What?
Meaning my style. Like, I just go all over the place. I love to derail like nobody else.
Oh, man. Man. This is tough, because, like, I've had interviews, but, like, this is the most technical difficulties I've had. I'm not saying it's you, but it sucks.
Well, hey, we'll make it work, man. It's gonna happen.
All right, well, let's get right into it. Tell us a little bit about yourself. That's a new question.
Okay. A little bit about myself. Everybody I think listening would probably know my name at this point.
It's
I've been
Scott Pooper.
I wish. I'm Scott Narver. I've been an actor, a podcaster, a YouTuber. I am a twice retired singer, and I don't think I was ever much of a dancer.
Whoa, hold up. A twice retired singer.
That's right.
All right, you have to. Go ahead. Go into detail.
Well, ever since I was I'd say all the time I started acting was probably around the age of like 11 or 12. And then throughout the years, I was doing plays and theater. At some point, musicals became very alluring, and for musicals, you got to sing and you got to dance. So I tried, and I was never particularly good at one. I was a little bit better at singing than I was. And so at one point, I felt for the sake of the audience that I needed to hang it up and stop singing, so I retired. Then, many, many years later, when going through Second City, Los Angeles here at Improv Comedy School, there was a gig that I got hired for working on the Norwegian cruise lines, which were prominently featured on AEW Dynamite recently. They were on the Norwegian Pearl. I was on the Norwegian Star, which was a sister ship of ours. And I performed improv comedy and sketch comedy on there. And but what they didn't say when we auditioned was we'd have to sing. And they also didn't mention that we would have to improvise and sing, meaning that we would be doing shows and playing games where some of the games required us to make up songs on the spot. So there was
That's awesome.
myself and a fellow cast member that were immediately petrified. And our musical director, who was there, who's an incredibly talented improviser and plays music and piano and many instruments, looked at us and went, "Guys, it's not that hard. You'll be okay. You're in good hands." And we were. But that's when I got paid to sing. And I performed in a theater in that space that was 1,000 people in their theater on the ship. And the nights was Heath Slater was there on the cruise ship. So I've sung for Heath Slater. I've improvised singing for Heath Slater, and 3,000 people every night. I'm retiring out on top. They paid me to do it. The suckers, I suck at it, so I took their money and I ran. So twice retired from singing, no more.
I'm afraid to ask you to keep going about your resume, but I want more questions, so just keep going.
Hey, you ask me the question, I'll say the answer. I'm kind of like a magic 8-ball. You can't just get an answer out of me. You gotta prompt it. I don't know what to say. I've always been terrible with that, where it's like you don't ask me anything, so I don't share.
Why don't you share anything? That's my question. No. So we've not had this. This is our first time doing this interview, right?
Sure. Discounting the other two, absolutely.
The other two were bad, man. It was LA traffic and audio problems and yeah. Sure.
Yeah,
Let's
now
just
we're
go with
getting
that.
close to Orange County traffic. It's totally different.
Orange County, man, you gotta eat some oranges.
Yep, this is true. They got good oranges.
Yeah. Alright, so we're gonna get to life in general, hopefully. How's your life going? No. Right now you're in LA traffic talking to a guy who you thought was 17, so.
I wasn't too far off. J-Man Powerhouse, how old are you?
I'm not saying my age on air, so I'm gonna say somewhere between 17 and 94.
There you go. There you go. Put that on your Tinder, and they'll go crazy for it.
I gotta do that new who came up with that challenge? I forget what it's called.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Speaking about times changing, your landscape has changed a lot. I guess. No.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
doing
it has.
doing curtain jerks, AfterBuzz, wrestling compadres. You even started a movie, which I know you were gonna bring up, so I had to bring it up. Um, you're laughing because you know it's true. um,
Hey,
so
I'm proud of it. So if people want to check it out, they can. If not, hey, I'm just happy to have been part of it.
well, now we just plugged it, so go ahead. You have to plug it now.
Are you talking about the film Dave Made a Maze, co-written by Curtin Jerk's own Steve Sears, directed by fellow improviser and comedy great Bill Watterson, who also co-wrote it, and starring WWE's own John Morrison? He promptly returned, and great comedians like Frank Coyote and Rick Overton, and comedian Nick Thune, and many, many others. It's great. It's wildly imaginative. Have you seen it, J-Man Powerhouse?
We went over this the other day. No.
Well, from being 17 to 94, you are old enough to watch it. It's within the rating system that you are allowed to watch Dave Made a Maze.
I would
think you'll get
I
a
would
kick out
hope
of it.
I would hope so. I'll YouTube it. I'll YouTube it. Send me a link after the interview and I'll YouTube it. Obviously
I'm
not
giving you
gonna
a
watch it
bootleg
tonight.
copy.
What?
I can't give you a bootleg copy. That goes against everything that this is all about. You gotta throw down a little bit for it.
So I know I've asked you this already 5 times, but what are your thoughts on Tessa Blanchard being Impact World Champion?
Tessa Blanchard needs to be Impact World Champion. They need it for themselves as the company. She needs it for herself for her credentials. Impact Wrestling removed heavyweight from their title when Austin Aries had won it, and I think that was a great opening right there, and Tessa Blanchard should have been world champion a lot sooner, because removing the weight divisions opens it up to so many more possibilities, and for a company that's open to
Slow down. I know you've answered it 90 times, but now you're talking like the world's ending.
Look, it's important for wrestling as a whole. It's important for fans. It's important for kids, boys and girls, men and women, to see a woman be world champion. WWE isn't open to intergender wrestling. That's fine. They can have their men's division. They can have their women's division. Great. They should be titled as such, not just world champion and women's world champion. They need to acknowledge this is the men's side and the women's side. Like they do with the Royal Rumble. But Impact Wrestling and any other organization that wants to open it up and allow intergender wrestling and just have world champions and not divide it up into weight categories, I think is great. And Impact needed to be first. They need to keep it as something special. They need to book their best storyline. They need to hire the best wrestlers to make the best matchups, to have this be an important part of their history, an important part of her history, so they can move forward with it and have it be something regular and not a sideshow.
So how did you get into wrestling? Like, young?
I got into wrestling when I was a young kid from my older brother. He's 4 older than me, and we love a lot of the same things, and he started watching, and we were watching WWE stuff, and it was somewhere in between WrestleMania 3 and 4, like that was when we got hooked in, because remember it's a big deal when we rented WrestleMania 4 on videotape, and we're watching the tournament, and we didn't know the results, we didn't know who won, and the videotape would have come out a couple of months later. So like we just got hooked from there. We went to our first show together when we were kids, a WWE show. We were at a house show, sitting front row with our folks, and it was life changing. And then we still watch to this day. We fluctuate from the companies and stuff we like, but we both are really big into AEW right now. And last year we went to Double or Nothing, and earlier this week when it was announced that Double or Nothing is going to be returning to Vegas, he immediately sent me a text and said we're going. So we're going again. So after all these years, we're still watching wrestling together.
That's awesome, man. And you love, like, you and your brother into a lot of the similar things?
Yeah, we're big into video games. We're way big into pinball right now. So we've been, we try to make it one day out of every week. We go play pinball. We're big foodies and we go out to cool restaurants and stuff. And yeah, it's fun. And he's local to me again after a few years. And we hang out and we have a great relationship. And there's always wrestling.
That's awesome, man. Alright. Can you guess what my next question's gonna be?
No, you go ahead.
Okay. What's your favorite video game?
Of all time, I gotta probably go.
I threw you for a loop there.
WWF No Mercy. But currently I go Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3.
I threw you for a loop there. That was not what you thought I was gonna ask.
Nope. I did not expect it.
Okay, well now I'm gonna go with what you think I was gonna ask. This is too predictable now. What do you think about AEW and there being other wrestling companies?
I think AEW is fantastic. I love the passion. I love that it's a different formation than what all other wrestling companies are. That it's created from a total wrestling nerd in Tony Khan, who has deep pockets but is a smart enough guy to know what good wrestling is, what good TV is, compared to what Ted Turner is, who knows what good TV is, but doesn't know good wrestling, just likes wrestling. And all of the wrestlers involved, the Elite and Cody, the Young Bucks, Omega, and others, that they made what they wanted to have on the air. Whether they fully reached that potential of what they envision their show to be, I don't think they have, because oftentimes you just form a template off of what you know, but I think they'll come to find more of what they're looking for as they continue on. But I think that's something you and I relate to when creating podcasts or YouTube shows or any of this stuff, where it's like, I want to make what I'm missing. I want to have the show that no one else is doing, so I'll put it out there. And I think that's what they're doing, and I think that's really important in this day and age when there's a large amount of wrestling fans that have grown tired of WWE.
Yeah, like you said, I think that, and you said we relate to it with podcasts, obviously. You've been in a movie, which we've shouted out 9 times, but hasn't been made in this podcast yet because all the recordings we shouted out on have either died or deleted, so go ahead.
It's crazy, for as many times as I shouted it out, you still haven't sat down and watched it.
I haven't had time, we've been recording.
I guess that's fair.
So go ahead.
You know it. Dave made a maze. It's a wild, imaginative ride filled with schools and visuals that you've never seen before. And you know this, J-Man Powerhouse. If you love curtain jerks or even tolerate it, as you said you have, then you know Steve Sears and you know how his brain works to the same degree that I do, which is it can't be comprehended. It's so wild. And he has co-written this movie along with the wonderful Bill Watterson, who directed it, and it's filled with many great talent. And I like to think that I didn't screw it up, so it's amazing. You should check it out.
Ages what is it, 17 to 94, right?
Yep, that's your Tinder profile. Your age is
Yep.
somewhere in there. So swipe right, everybody. Give it a super like.
Oh, man. I don't know how I'm going to come back from that. But anyway, I'm not, because I'm going to get too many super likes. Oh, boy. I'm canceled. Anyway, yeah, like you said, like, for us, it's important to make what you want to make and be the best you can be. And I feel like for guys like Cody and all them and Jericho, they're doing what they want to do, and they're doing it well. And it's, in the long run, maybe gives WWE some competition. I don't think AEW looks at themselves as competition. I just think that in the long run, we'll see what happens. But this isn't WWE versus WCW. This is WWE surrounded by AEW, surrounded by Impact, surrounded by Lucha Underground, surrounded by all these other promotions. But all these other promotions do it differently, and it's kind of like how we've talked about broadbanding, and that's not a word, expanding music and expanding listening to podcasts. Well, I'm gonna transition into, like we've talked about this, like how people have influenced me. What YouTubers and what podcasters influenced you, like growing up?
Well, there's a bit of an age difference between us. So growing up, compared to like, oh, this was not too long ago where I was influenced. But YouTube, I love James Rolfe, who's the Angry Video Game Nerd. I found his content at just the right time when I was not sure of what it was I wanted to do, and I was starting up a couple of things, and he really inspired me to just do what you want to do. I had been an actor for so long. I, did the whole LA scene and was the stereotypical starving artist. And I just wasn't getting success due to many factors, not just all because of my own. It's obviously a very difficult business, and I felt like times were changing and that I could start doing stuff on my own and maybe make success, hopefully make a paycheck of some kind, but I knew artistically I'd be a lot more fulfilled. And James Rolfe was one of those guys that solidified that dream. And so he's been a big influence. I like a lot of comedy stuff. Obviously, I dig Funhouse a whole lot. James Willems being one of the top amongst that group. Bruce Green, Lawrence Sontag, Adam Kovic, Elise Williams. I love them a whole lot. And as far as podcasters go, Kevin Smith is a gigantic influence, not just as a filmmaker and an author and all of that. It's podcasting that he's always referred to it as the Wild West, and get in while you can. There's no one regulating it. You can do what you want. And he has so much fun. He's been on such a roller coaster of his career and life that he shared on air, which I find extraordinary because I'm nowhere near that open as to what he does. But Cole as well, that he was helping revolutionize podcasting and wrestling, and exposing it to wrestlers, like hearing older wrestlers like $1 Million Man on a show going like, what is this? And he's explaining a podcast to him and kind of acknowledging, I still don't think he gets what it is, but he did it. And that opens up things like On Your Mark, with Marky Extreme, to talk to older wrestlers that might get the idea of like, oh, okay, so it's something on the internet. Got it. Okay, let's have some fun. Rather than I don't understand what any of this is. This isn't on TV. No thanks. So Kevin Smith and Cole Cabana being very big influences in podcasting.
Not that you care, but I guess I'll go with mine.
Of course I care, J-Man Powerhouse. Hit me up with yours.
Can you guess? Do you remember them since I've told you 7 times?
No, you've only shared this once. It's the dude that fought oh God, what's everybody's names? Logan Paul, that dude.
Okay,
And then
let me clarify this. I say Logan Paul post Japan just because of everything he's doing with his podcast and going back to vlogging. He's been a big inspiration. Obviously, PewDiePie, I would say, has been a big inspiration. Jacksepticeye, because of like charity streams and stuff they do. I'd have to say Sidemen and KSI because my goal starting this podcast has always been to get a group of people less known, be it singers, be it musicians, be it Twitch streamers, be it YouTubers, be it podcasters, be it writers. My goal has been to get the less known together and work together to make a big group and help each other out. So obviously, in that mindset, Sidemen has been a huge inspiration to me. I'd have to say PewDiePie, obviously, and Jacksepticeye because of their charity. Logan Paul post Japan because of how he's back. And KSI because, I mean, KSI is just awesome, in my opinion. So, podcast-wise, I'd say, obviously, Wrestling Compadres, Pittenger, Colt Cabana. But, like, it's a lot of people have influenced me, obviously. Sidemen, KSI, Jacksepticeye, Pewds, Logan Paul, Post Japan. There's there's Twitch streamers who have influenced me. There's a bunch of people who have influenced me, and it's important because those influences shape you into, obviously, your personality shapes you into who you are, but these influences have shaped me into who I am. So thank you to all of them. But those are the people that have inspired me the most. Growing up, what did you want to be? Like, when you were younger, what did you want to be?
oh boy, when I was younger, I wanted to be an actor. So I didn't want to be a wrestler when I was a kid. I didn't want to be like any of this stuff of like an astronaut or this or that. Like that was such a quick passing phase that wasn't real. But I'd say probably by the time I was like 7 or 8 or so, I wanted to be an actor, but I didn't know really anything about it or how to do it. But I was so movie crazed at an early age, and I'd always, I'd be watching movies with my folks, and there'd be some supporting character, and I'd be like, that guy was in that movie. This person was in that movie. My parents would look at me like, yeah, he was. Kind of shocked that I'd be recognizing faces and stuff. Then I got thrown into it at one point when, let me see, I was 6th grade. I took a creative writing class, and I didn't know that the other half of it was an acting class. And when it happened, I wanted to get out of it because I was really scared. But then they put you in a show too, and I did it. And then ever since, I just kept doing it. And I want to be.
What was the show?
Oh God, I think it was called Bobby Sox and DuckTales. It was like a 50s musical, and sticking a bunch of kids in it. It was awful. It was really, really terrible.
So your first show was terrible?
Well, yeah, I mean, how many 6th grade performances are there that people are like, that really sculpted my life in a different way? It was beautiful.
Bobby Shark and DuckTales? Or DuckTales?
Bobby Sox and DuckTales. Those are I want to say, if I remember this right, like DuckTales was a certain type of hairdo that guys had in the 50s, and Bobby Sox were the type of socks that gals wore along with their poodle skirts.
Okay, so they would wear them along with... I thought DuckTales was that Disney show.
Well, yeah. It is both. You just got to spell the tails different.
Oh, yeah. That's Tales.
That's right.
That's right. Alright. So acting wise, obviously, there's a lot of we've talked about your influences like wrestling wise. Who was your influence acting wise? Like aside from wrestling.
Oh, two big. The two as a kid were Harrison Ford and Kurt Russell. Um, they were in everything that I loved. Like I got introduced to so many of their movies early. Like I'm a gigantic Indiana Jones fan and Star Wars fan. Big Trouble in Little China. All those movies. I just thought these were. I loved what they did. I loved that they were funny. I loved that they were serious. I loved that they were dramatic. I couldn't tell you as a kid, but I could tell you later that what I loved about them were they were really human in that they didn't get everything right. They messed up all the time. I wasn't a James Bond guy. Like now the James Bond movies with Daniel Craig, he gets beat up, he gets cut, he gets shot. And all the early Bonds, Lazenby, Moore, Connery, there's not a scratch on him. He's getting through everything, and he's a superhero. And I wasn't into that. I like Indiana Jones getting dragged from a truck. I liked Jack Burton not being able to fire his gun, and missing out on the fight. All that stuff spoke to me. And they would play characters that were like that had flaws.
So you said Temple of Doom was your favorite Indiana Jones movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Were you a fan of Star Wars?
Oh, absolutely. I love Star Wars. Was I a fan of Star Wars? I guess the answer is no. I'm still a fan of Star Wars.
Oh, are you a fan of Star Wars?
Yes. Been so ever since I was a kid. I don't know. I don't have the earliest memory I have of anything Star Wars was I know I saw Return of the Jedi in the theater as a kid. And that was 1986, so I was probably 5 or 6 years old at the time. I don't know what month it came out. So but I have memory of seeing it in the theater. And have bought the movies ever since on every platform. Bought it on, recorded it off TV, bought it on VHS, bought it on, DVD, bought it on widescreen VHS, bought it on all the stuff. And yeah, still love it. Still, if there's something Star Warsy, I'm in it. I'm checking it out.
Have you watched The Mandalorian?
I'm 2 episodes in.
Okay.
I'm watching it with a lady, and it's a show we got to watch together, and our work schedules have not lined up exactly. And so when we're home and we're together and we have the time,
Ducking bards in the background.
Yeah, let's do a Mandalorian. So then we'll bust it out. So only 2 in so far.
Do you ever think eventually that Star Wars is gonna get to the point where they have too much?
I mean, you could say the same about WWE, or you could say the same about a lot of things. I think at this point, yeah. But Star Wars, if you look at it all from the time it started, and from the novelization of the first movies and the first book that came out, Splinter of the Mind's Eye, to then the myriad of books that came after that, you could say that's too much. But look at all the video games. You could say that's too much. You could look at all the action figures throughout all the different styles and companies they've gone through with Kenner and everybody. You could say that's too much. But I feel when it becomes so much of something, that's when you just take it or leave it. You go, oh, I'm into the graphic novels of Star Wars and some of the video games, and I'm good. or you take it all and you take whatever you want. It's there for you, and whatever appeals to you, you go for it. But no, I feel like at this point, just keep going with what you make, because you don't have to watch it. You don't have to watch Rogue One. You don't have to watch Solo. You can just take what you want.
So who was your favorite Ninja Turtle?
Was
It's
is jeez.
either.
Out of the Nickelodeon series, so basically my favorite series of it now, I'd have to say it's Raphael. But when I was a kid, it was Michelangelo out of the old cartoon series. But I
Reason?
like that all of them are in the Nickelodeon series. All of them are actually fleshed out characters. Leonardo's an actual character, but I think Raphael now in this series is just is so fully three-dimensional. All the resentment or the argumentativeness or his anger is all justified because they are teenagers in this one. They actually act like teenagers. He's going, from the first episode, Splinter chooses Leonardo as the leader, and Raphael knows he's the better fighter and feels that that's what should make him a better leader because he's the best fighter. And has a love-hatred relationship with his brother Leonardo. And feels like he can go out and do this better than everybody else, but knows at times he can relax and be a better team member. So I think he just has the most interesting story, and the most to work through. So that's why Raphael is my currently favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
So, Mikey, because of what his character was.
Mikey, because as a kid he was funny. He was hilarious. He had a fun attitude and was cracking wise, and he loved pizza. And what kid didn't love pizza? So he just encompassed all things that were, my attitude as a kid.
Yeah,
And he had
Mikey.
nunchucks, which are awesome. I love nunchucks.
Yeah, right. I dressed up as Mikey one year for Halloween.
Nice.
We had like those fake like twin nunchucks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I almost hit myself in the face with it.
Almost. Come on, J-Man Powerhouse. Everyone who held nunchucks, toy or not, cracked themselves in the skull.
What a great influence. Oh man. So who was your favorite Power Ranger?
Geez, since I've only ever caught it just, in little snippets here and there, I know I'm supposed to think the green and or white ranger is so awesome because it's Tommy. But
You know which one the one guy has his own martial arts studio.
was that Tommy, that guy?
David James Frank.
Okay.
I think he was the Green Ranger. I don't know. People are gonna hate me. I should probably look this up before I start spitting out facts.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The green and white ranger is the same dude. That dude who still pops up at conventions and does all that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's David James Frank.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to remember the dinosaurs associated with each of them. So I thought the mastodon was pretty cool, which I think is the Black Ranger.
I think so.
Because that seemed like the one where you're just not gonna do anything to that ranger if he's got the power of mastodon. The T-Rex one. T-Rexes are cool, but come on, they're not. They got tiny little arms. What's gonna happen? They can't run that fast. Their legs are too big. Let's face it, mastodon's just gonna plow right through you.
Okay, so David James Frank is only 46. Might not be that far from you. It says he was born in Covina, California.
Yeah, probably less than 100 miles away.
And yeah, no, he was Tommy.
Yeah, see, that's the guy. That's what I figured. I know. Yeah, everybody says he's their favorite, but he played 2 Rangers. That's cheating. Too many Rangers.
So you're saying because he played 2 Rangers, he wasn't your favorite?
No, no, like because everyone I know they watch the story and they're like, oh, he's the Green Ranger and he's bad, and then oh, he's the White Ranger, he's good. So he got more opportunities to be everybody's favorite. I was like, nah, I'm sticking with Black Ranger. I think he's badass.
What was the Black Ranger's name?
That I do not know. I want to say one of them's Billy and another one's Kimberly.
Billy was the blue one.
And beyond that, I don't really know.
Oh, yeah, Zach Taylor. Yeah. Zach Taylor, who was played by actor Walter Emmanuel Jones.
Mm.
Oh, okay, here we go. His swords were the Mastodon Dinosaur and the Lion Thunder Sword.
Yeah, that's cool. To me, it doesn't get much cooler than that. So I'm still sticking with him. Still sticking with the Black Ranger.
Which one did you say you like? I don't remember him having a Thunder Sword. The Thunder Sword. People are gonna correct me here, but it says home Earth. Which one was? I think the Mastodon was the really cool one, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't the Mastodon was the one that like exploded out?
Yeah, that's from my memory. Yeah, the Black Ranger's Mastodon.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens at Mania. Obviously, you think McIntyre wins the title? We'll go through a couple matches real quick. McIntyre win the title?
I'm gonna go yes. McIntyre wins.
Is Bayley still the women's champion by then?
No, please, Lord, no. Anybody else? Alexa, Nikki, Alicia Fox, anybody.
I forgot Alicia Fox existed.
She's amazing.
Dana Brooke?
We can pass on that one too. She can just induct her boyfriend into the Hall of Fame and we can be good there.
Who's her boyfriend?
Batista.
Oh yeah, that's right. I heard about. Wait, are they actually legit a thing?
You can tweet him and find out, J-Man Powerhouse, and set up your next interviews with the most buff wrestling couple to date.
I don't know if they're gonna have. I don't know if they're gonna have the 4-day patience.
I can tell you right now, they will not.
Well, I gotta get them Mania at some point, man. That's how I'll track them down. I mean, I don't know what else Dana Brooke's gonna be doing at Mania.
Yeah, and you might need to hurry up. I don't know how many Manias she's got left.
Wow. That's So does obviously Leah Ripley beat Charlotte, right?
No, I say Charlotte wins.
Really?
Mm-hmm. She beat Asuka. She was undefeated. She's a Flair.
Wow. Okay. So you think Charlotte wins and Baszler wins?
No, not necessarily. I just don't think WrestleMania is just not everybody gets the Cinderella moment. That's boring, and then it becomes too predictable. So, I can see Becky beating Baszler if that ends up being the match. But I don't bet against Charlotte Flair.
You're going to say so you don't think there's a chance that Rhea Ripley and Baszler both win?
No.
Okay.
This show is booked by Vince McMahon, not by Triple H.
If it was booked by Triple H, you'd say yes?
Yes, I would.
Oh, no. Well, what happens when we lose Vince?
You'll never lose Vince.
I
You'll
mean,
never
how...
lose him. If you've seen Futurama, his head will be in a jar and he'll still be booking all this stuff.
Alright. Well, thank you so much for the 4-day interview.
Sure.
And it's been
6
legit.
hours, 4 days, did it. This is like a camping excursion or something. You know, we did it.
And you only get to hear 30 minutes of it.
Whatever you got, it's gold. It's gold, I tells you.
Maybe the other 5 hours and 50 minutes will get uploaded to a blooper reel.
Sure, yeah. That sounds good. All bloopers.
All bloopers. That'll set my career. I already think I have set my career. I appreciate your patience. It's
And
a
I
virtue.
appreciate your enthusiasm, J-Man Powerhouse.
My enthusiasm. What are you talking about? You're the one who was the one that kept saying, yeah, we can get this done.
Yeah, but you kept doing it. That's enthusiasm. Whether or not you felt it, you wanted to do it.
I did want to do it. Enthusiasm is key. So where can people reach out to you?
They can reach out to me on social media at Scott Narver. That's Twitter, Instagram, and other stuff too, I'm sure. You can check me out on youtube.com/onyourmarkshow. Proud to be a writer and a performer on that show. You can check out Marquee Extreme, the greatest wrestling backyard entertainer, doing interviews with wrestlers, having matches, getting insights. And I can tell this right now. It leaked yesterday on the internet. There will be a new shoot interview coming soon, Marquee Extreme, with the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. So you're going to want to subscribe and check that out. And also youtube.com/Scott versus Box. You can watch me with my unboxing channel, and I do weird, wild unboxings. And then as well as Wrestling Compadres Slamcast. That's available on all audio platforms, including Podbean. And it's a weekly wrestling podcast that I do with Jake Lloyd, Dale Rutledge. And we talk all wrestling. And yeah, I think that pretty much covers it for now. And then when the other stuff comes out, you'll hear about it. Oh, and of course, if you haven't heard about this movie, Dave Made a Maze.
There it is.
Blu-ray and on all digital platforms that you watch your films. But you can always go to davemadeamaze.com, check out behind-the-scenes stuff, and also where to get the movie. There's direct links right there. And let them know that I sent you. And that it was like, oh, I watched this movie because of Scott. They'll be happy to know that.
And then also let them know that I'm planning to be in the prequel, Dave Maze.
Sure, yeah. You'll be the bump in the stomach of Dave, playing the maze in the term that he'll then pass through the world through a cesarean.
All right. So I think we deserve this because it's been 4 days. So I'm gonna make you say it. I'll let you say it. I'm going to say, you say, I'm Scott Narver, and thank you for listening to the Life is Feels podcast.
All right. This is Scott Narver, and thank you for listening to the Life is Feels podcast.
All right. I'll see you later, man.
All right. Take it easy.
Thank you so much for listening to special episode number 6 of the Life is Feels podcast, our interview with Scott Narver. You can subscribe to us on YouTube at Lifeless Feels Podcast. If you have any questions, email us, lifelessfeelspodcast@gmail.com. You can follow me on Twitter at lifelessfeels. My podcast partner, Stephen Altsch, at StephenAltsch13 on Twitter. Check out our music partner, Riley Hawk, on Twitter at HawkMusic. YouTube, Riley Hawk Music. SoundCloud, search Riley Hawk. HawkMusic.com. Her friends do a thing called Team Turtle Ducks. They've played Life is Strange. Twitch.tv/Team Turtle Ducks. Check out the guy who made our logo, Steven Fantasy, at StevenFantasyDesign.com, at Steve_Fantasy on Twitter. And some people I listen to on Twitch, or watch on Twitch, Twitch.tv/BabyCobra, BabyCobraa, Twitch.tv/Orvidden, Twitch.tv/Jinx, which is JINXETTE, and Twitch.tv/AV_II, AVEE_II. And also check out her Tales of Aspirin podcast, which is a podcast on D&D, and it's really good. So I'll leave those descriptions for their Twitch channels and the links below. Everyone's killing it. Thank you so much for listening. And also 7cups.com. If you have help and if you need help and need someone to talk to, go to 7cups.com and get your therapy and get help, and they're all willing to listen. So, for J-Man Powerhouse, thank you so much for listening to special episode number 6 of the Life of Seals podcast, entitled Interview with Scott Narver. That's all, folks. Always take your shot. Feels is life. And remember, folks, life is feels. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.